Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Nada, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. And you are doing some writing practice, and I am doing an error correction video of what you have written. So first of all, I don't know how you did this in 30 minutes. I find it hard to believe. This is 958 words. So for the TOEFL, you're doing too much. I would just focus, I think 400 to 500 is plenty for this kind of a thing. But no doubt, your paragraphs are very, very well developed, right? My first impression right now, I may go a little lower or higher after I error correct your essay. I'm going to put it at 4.0 out of 5, or 25 points out of 30. That would be where I think your score is right now, but like I said, when I get done, I may make an adjustment on that. Okay, so let's start off with your first paragraph. The their construction usually is not very strong. It's not a really strong way to make a sentence, so no doubt our lifestyle has, I'm going to not use passive meaning here, I'm going to say has changed a lot compared to the last 2 decades. Now, I'm going to keep a list of different kinds of problems you're having here. Okay, let's go to the next sentence. Again, I'm going to get rid of the word there. Many social phenomena have entered our, I'm going to change this to lives, make it plural, so that's a plural noun. And maybe put a comma after that to separate those independent clauses in that compound sentence. Okay, now those new inserts are a basic part in our everyday lives. One of the very noticeable, usually very is not, doesn't really do very much for your writing, so those adverbs like that, I wouldn't even use them, they're weak. One of the noticeable phenomena is the microwave in the fast food restaurants. Many people have been asked about their opinion. Let's do this. I'm going to say of these fast food, instead of restaurants, how about establishments? So you're not repeating exactly the same word over and over, right? So you want to use some synonyms in there. Of these fast food establishments and microwaves, and this is a comma splice, believe it or not. So let me write that down. That's a problem with punctuation. If you put a connector in there, you have solved that problem. So many people... Now wait a minute. No, we got to do this. Many people who have been asked about their opinion of these fast food establishments and microwaves, that's how I would do that, like this. So many people have been asked about their opinion of these fast food establishments and microwaves, may see them as a lifesaver, may see them as lifesavers. No semicolon here. Semicolons are used... No, wait a minute. No, I think what you're doing is correct. Since they really save tremendous... Let's just say time here. No, I think we got to get rid of this semicolon. So many people have been asked about their opinion of these fast food establishments and microwaves, may see them as lifesavers since they really save tremendous time that we used to spend for preparing our meals. Good. In my opinion, this point of view is short-sighted. If we have a bigger look, we can easily notice. Probably all of that. I'm going to get rid of some of this. Just start off with your assertion here. This point of view is short-sighted. Fast food and microwaves affect our lives negatively. And they harm, because you're using present, right? And they harm our health in a very harsh way. What if you did this? Get rid of all of that. You got 900 words. We can definitely get rid of some of the unnecessary words there, right? Maybe we can even combine these two sentences. How about that? So in my opinion, don't even need to say in my opinion. This point of view is short-sighted in that fast food and microwaves affect our lives and health negatively. There we go. So those are my first changes in your first paragraph. There's one more thing I want to do with that first paragraph. I'm going to put something like this. This point of view. However, that's probably a good word to use there, so you're showing how this idea is different from what you already said. So this is a good start, though. I mean, you got about 100 words for your first paragraph. That's fine. Okay, let's go to the next one here. First of all, I'm going to get rid of all of these words here, not really needed. Most. We'll get this even. So most menus of the biggest and most popular fast food restaurants are packed with harmful ingredients. I don't think you have to say components. Let's just say ingredients. That's fine. If you say most of them, you have another comma splice, so you need to do better. I'm going to change them to which. If you say most of which are artificially made flavors, actually, because you have which there, so you don't want to do that. So most I'm going to reduce this to an ing. If you say most of which are most artificially made flavors, so most of them artificially made flavors, playing the main role of adding the tasting. The main role of adding, you just want to say taste. There's no need to say all of that, so I'm going to get rid of a lot of stuff here. Of adding taste. Maybe say regardless, maybe use a preposition there of how those ingredients can have serious consequences on society's health. So use the apostrophe right there. Example for that is awkward. I would say to illustrate Or you can say, for example. Okay, many researchers have been, no problem with passive voice, I want to say have performed and documented the direct relationship between the fast food style and the obesity of children and adults. Okay, this is good. We have, I can also remember a personal experience when I joined a new college. You want to, outside my hometown, Mansoura. And you need the connector where here, where I had to rent an apartment. And the comma here, and since I was always busy, put one here. I did not always have time to prepare healthy homemade foods for myself. I'm going to change this to therefore. Putting so at the beginning of the sentence is a little bit less formal. So you want to make this kind of writing more formal. So therefore, I depended almost entirely on the fast food restaurants. And maybe we're going to get rid of the there and say many of them in my street made it easier. Change this to for, not to. Made it easier for me to grab a meal at the end of every day to have my dinner and sleep. I'm going to say here, I'm going to use a cause-effect word here. I think cause-effect is better than contrast. Hence, I have added many pounds I have, I would just say this. I've gained weight, even though I was not eating a lot. But because of quality of food, and contained harmful fats. Okay, so on this one, you have at the very end, I'm going to change this to thereby I'm going to say thereby affecting my health negatively. There's no reason to say gained weight. You've already said that here, right? So I've gained weight even though I was not eating a lot. Let's look at what we have. Now you want to use, I think simple past, not present perfect is going to work better here. I gained weight even though I was not eating a lot, but because the quality of food was not good and contained harmful fats, thereby affecting my health negatively. Second of all, don't need any of that. The new lifestyle which the fast food restaurants add to our lives also harm our social life and relationships inside our families. You don't need a semicolon here. You don't need any punctuation at all. So you want to review that use of the semicolon at my website. That's going to be important for you. I'm going to write that down. I'll say they encourage every family member to grab a fast meal and eat it anywhere and go. Instead of gathering every day at the same table and talking about, how about daily events? Okay, let's look at it one more time. Got to get your punctuation here. That's an incredible sentence you have here. It's okay, you can do longer sentences every now and then, but look, what is this thing? Let me look at this. 64 words. Wow, let's look at it again. Second of all, the new lifestyle which the fast food restaurants add to our life also harm our social life and relationships inside our families because they encourage every family member to grab a fast meal and eat it anywhere and go instead of gathering at the same table, maybe gathering at the same table, talking about our daily events and having a nice discussion about everything. For instance, the dinner the dinner our family used to have was so if you have used to have, it's going to force the past tense in the rest of this paragraph. So the dinner our family used to have was a sacred tradition. Everybody knew it was time, and everybody had to prepare I'm going to say family members, so then we can just say themselves instead of himself or herself. And family members had to prepare themselves to be ready for the dinner at least 30 minutes before. We used to talk together. You want to say we used to talk together to tell jokes and discuss what had happened in our day. Maybe. However, when we grew up, we got busier and busier. And this sacred fixed tradition started to you might say that. All right, let's keep going. It says, however, when we grew up, we got busier and busier, and this sacred fixed tradition started to, let's say, occur with less frequency, I should say. We started to have dinner at our work or on our way back from the college. A few months later, after this habit, I'm going to use past perfect here, had been infused into our life, we discovered that we had stopped talking together as much as before, and we all missed our gathering around one table. You can say something like this, which I feel you might say something like that right at the end, because look at this long paragraph. It's probably a good idea to remind us what you were doing in the purpose in the beginning, right? So we're just reminding the reader what our purpose is, so which I feel harmed our family socially. In sum, there's no doubt that the fast food restaurants gave us many benefits and saved us a lot of time. But for me, it was not a positive addition, because not only, when you use not only, you have to have subject, verb, and version. So not only did it harm our physical health, but it also weakened our social lives and relationships. Okay, let's read each paragraph one more time. So, no doubt our lifestyle has changed a lot compared to the last 2 decades. Many social phenomena have entered our lives, and now I'm going to change this to these. These new inserts are a basic part in our everyday lives. One of the noticeable phenomena is the microwave in the fast food restaurants. Many people who have been asked about their opinion of these fast food establishments and microwaves may see them as lifesavers, since they really save tremendous time that we used to spend for preparing our meals. This point of view, however, is short-sighted in that fast food and microwaves affect our lives and health negatively. First of all, most menus of the biggest and most popular fast food restaurants are packed with harmful ingredients, most of them artificially made flavors, playing the main role of adding taste to all the products the restaurants sell, regardless of how those ingredients can have serious consequences on society's health. To illustrate, many researchers have performed and documented the direct relationship between the fast food style and the obesity in children and adults. I also can remember personal experience when I joined a new college outside my hometown, Mansoura. I think you can use this as one word, right? Where I had to rent an apartment, and since I was always busy, I did not always have time to prepare healthy homemade foods for myself. Therefore, I depended almost completely on the fast food restaurants, and many of them in my street made it easier for me to grab a meal at the end of every day to have my dinner and sleep. I would just say here at the end of my day to grab a meal so I could have my dinner. I don't think there's the sleep you do after that, right? Hence, I gained weight even though I was not eating a lot, but because the quality of food was not good and contained harmful fats, thereby affecting my health negatively. All right, next paragraph. Second of all, the new lifestyle which the fast food restaurants add to our lives also harm our social life and relationships inside our families, because they encourage every family member to grab a fast meal and eat it anywhere and go, instead of gathering every day at the same table, talking about our daily events, and having a nice discussion about everything. Wow, did you have a good sentence right there? Look at that, baby. 63 words, no kidding. Woo! It's possible you can do that. For instance, the dinner our family used to have was a sacred tradition. Notice how you have a really long sentence played against a short sentence. That's really good. Everybody knew it was time, and family members had to prepare themselves to be ready for the dinner at least 30 minutes before. We used to talk together, tell jokes, and discuss what had happened in our day. Notice the use of the past perfect. This is past, but we're talking about something maybe that happened before that time. So when you have a past action before another past action, the past perfect tense works very well. And discuss what had happened in our day. However, when we grew up, we got busier and busier, and this sacred fixed tradition started to occur with less frequency. We started to have our dinner at the work or on our way back from the college. A few months later, after this habit had been infused in our life, maybe change this to plural, we discovered that we had stopped talking together as much as before, and we all missed our gathering around the table, which I feel harmed our family socially. So at the end of each paragraph, we have just a short sentence or a few words to tie that back to the beginning of that paragraph. That creates a nice unifying effect. In sum, there's no doubt that the fast food restaurants gave us many benefits. I'm going to say give us many benefits and save us a lot of time. But for me, I take it back. It looks like you want to use that past tense there, so you're correct. So there's no doubt. How about this? We'll get rid of the there construction. So undoubtedly, fast food restaurants gave us many benefits and saved us a lot of time, but for me, it was not a positive addition, because not only did it harm, we actually have to connect this together so we don't have a fragment. So it was not a positive addition because not only did it harm our physical health, but it also weakened our social lives and relationships. Because not only did it harm our physical health, but it also weakened our social lives and relationships. So I wouldn't put the comma right there, because you're using this as a dependent clause connector. So when we put these dependent clauses at the end of the sentence, typically we don't put a comma before those. However, if you put the dependent clause at the beginning of the sentence before the independent clause, it is more common to use the punctuation in that respect. All right? Okay, Nada, so based on your writing score, the question is what kinds of things you need to do right now to improve your writing. So I'm looking in the grammar part of my course here, and I'm going to just introduce a few things to you. So participial phrases, I think, is something that you want to take a look at right now based on your writing. Using adjective clauses, lesson number 6. I think that's an important thing for you. Let's keep going here. Verb tenses. Actually, count and non-count nouns. I think that. You remember the word live or lives that? I think you can work on that. Definitely verb tenses. Lesson number 17. Take a look at that. That's also something you're having trouble with in your writing right now. Also, lesson number 21, prepositions. And lesson 25, comma slices, and that's a problem with punctuation. So you should probably take a look at that and try to figure out, okay, exactly how are commas used and how are they not used. So take a look at that lesson. The other one is lesson 27, being more concise. So you noticed when I was correcting your essay, you had a lot of unnecessary words in there. So I think if you go through lesson 27, that's going to give you some good ideas on how to tighten up your sentences. Lesson 28, when to use commas. That's very important for you. Also, lesson 29, you had a lot of problems with the semicolon. So check out that lesson and how to do that. And let me see if there's anything else in here. And I think one of those lessons, maybe it's 29, also review your use of the apostrophe. And I think that's it. So those are some specific lessons that you can take a look at to help you improve the polish of your writing. And thank you for completing this practice test.